Hello, this is the 6th edition on News Central TV. You're welcome, and we're broadcasting live from our studios in Abuja. I am Neota Egbe. Our top stories at this hour. President Tinubu departs Nigeria for state visit to deepen Nigeria-Turkey relations. Nigeria Union of Teachers joins strike as FCTA takes Joint Unions Action Committee to court. World Health Organization confirms end of Ethiopia's first ever Marburg virus outbreak. Details in a moment. President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for a state visit to the Republic of Turkey aimed at deepening diplomatic and economic relations between both countries. The visit will focus on expanding cooperation in key sectors including security, education, social development, innovation, and aviation, building on the long-standing cordial ties between Nigeria and Turkey. During the visit, President Tinubu will hold high-level political and diplomatic engagements with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and other top officials. The president is expected to return to Nigeria at the conclusion of the visit. And on to judicial matters. This week, one of the most high-profile corruption trials involving a former African cabinet minister gets underway in London. Nigeria's former petroleum minister and once the most powerful woman in the country's energy sector, Diezani Alison Madueke, is facing bribery charges at Southwark Crown Court. The British prosecutors allege that she accepted luxury benefits and payments in exchange for awarding lucrative oil contracts while in office, a claim she strongly denies. The case is being watched closely in Nigeria and beyond, seen as a landmark test of global anti-corruption enforcement and whether powerful political figures can still be held accountable years after leaving office. Our correspondent, our senior international correspondent, Afia Hagen, is at the Southwark Crown Courts and bringing you the latest from the trial, but she did that in our earlier bulletin and she'll join us sometime later on. But then staying with the legal matters, the federal government has taken over the prosecution of an alleged fraud case involving senior advocate of Nigeria, Mike Ozekome. The matter, which was earlier stalled, came up in court, but the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, requested for more time to review the case. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, is at the court and brings us more details. We will get back to you on subsequent bulletins. Now, the trial of human rights activist Samaila Uba will be holding tomorrow, January the 27th, as he returns to court following allegations by the Department of State Services of inciting public disturbance following his labeling of President Bola Tinubu in unsavory terms in an online post. Now, Mr. Uba has been in and out of court in the last decade, bordering on charges of treason to cyberbullying, and continues to face stern government action. Starting in 2019, Uba faced treason charges for his Revolution Now movement, leading to a violent courtroom rearrest and 4 years of confinement in Abuja. Those charges were finally struck out in February 2024. However, a new frontier opened this month as the human rights activist was rearraigned on January 19, 2026, facing a 2-count charge amended under the Cybercrimes Act for allegedly labeling President Bola Tinubu as a criminal in an online post. With trial proceedings officially opening on January the 22nd, the court has adjourned the case to tomorrow, the 27th, for cross-examination of the DSS witnesses. In the studio with me right now is the man in question, Mr. Samaila Uba, publisher of Sahara Reports. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
For one who has been in court for almost over a decade, I mean back and forth, you look quite fresh.
I think it's been more than a decade. My first court appearance was probably in 1992 when I was a student activist.
No, I didn't want to go from the point of view.
So I'm just trying to let you know that I've probably gotten used to persecution.
But there are some who are concerned, I mean Nigerians, and indeed some outside the shores of this country who are concerned about why it's as though you chase after, it's as though you're seeking after popularity, or you chase after these things for any particular reason.
Well, I don't think there's anybody who could accuse someone like me who's been through all of the these agonies, you've been through persecution, you've been through denials of rights that are chasing after popularity. You know, how much do they pay for popularity if you become popular? I think people just say that so that they can douse the fire of your activism. And because likely a lot of people also don't know your history. It's not about chasing after popularity, chasing after freedom or chasing after liberation and progress for my country. Because if I'm looking for popularity, I will be a blogger uploading wedding pictures of rich people. And I'll be very popular for doing that.
Indeed, that would be really nice. But then there's, who would you then say you're modeling after? I mean, we used to hear the voices of the Ghanaian families as well, but there's no Ghana in Nigeria today. And at the end of the day, what's in this for the Nigerian people? Because there are a lot of young people who are following after your footsteps or seeking to follow after your footsteps.
Well, you mentioned Ghanaian family, and I know when he was alive, he was accused of the same thing. They said it's dramatic, he's always chasing after popularity, he likes to go to jail, and it's just nature of the kind of work we do. And I'm not modeling myself after anybody. I'm just myself. This is who I am. This is what I believe. I believe that we have a country where people deserve freedom. Children deserve to go to school. And the resources of the country ought to be applied to everybody who is a citizen. And you don't have to be chased down the street because you have an opinion that is different from those in power. So because it was this so-called chasing after popularity that made it possible for them, so many of these guys today, to be in government. If we hadn't fought for democracy, we would have had a Paul Biya type of person. Maybe Babangida would still be president of Nigeria even on wheelchair. And there wouldn't have been a Tinubu or Goodluck Jonathan, and all these governors that you have would not have tasted office. I won't say power. So it is very sad that you don't have this set of people who have benefited from the struggle for democracy to then be the same set of people who go after those of us who have made it possible in our little ways to make this country be where it is today.
Would you be chasing after office? I mean, would you be seeking office after?
Well, I sought office
you did
twice already, and there's nothing big about seeking for office. What is big to me is service. And for somebody with vision and with a mission that is meant to protect, to drive progress, bring about peace and security, to have the chance to lead this country. People have ideas, need to lead this country, as opposed to people who have no ideas, who have always been given, whether by default or by accident, the position of power, and they have misused it likely to put Nigeria where it is today.
Okay, so let me use two people outside the shores of the country. There's Malema in South Africa. There is Bobby Wine in Uganda.
Yes.
Malema has been accused. Right now, he's in court.
Yes. It's going to be sentenced in April.
In April.
Yes.
Bobby Wine is under arrest.
Yes.
You have been arrested a couple of times. Yes. But so I ask the question again. 2027 is around the corner. Would you be running again for office?
So the decision to run or be presented as a candidate is done by the party. And I'm a member of a political party. And the political party will decide who their candidate will be for the next election.
But the candidate would show would indicate interest.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know where you're headed. You just want to preempt what I have to say. But there's no need for that because we have not reached a point where people can, of course, some have indicated interest, some have done it directly, indirectly. But all of it is subjected to a decision by the party. For those who have political parties that will allow internal democracy, because somebody is going to pop up as soon as I leave this place and say, oh, the political party belongs to Showore and all that. It's not so. It's a political party, and it's a political party, interestingly, that's been around for close to almost 8 years now. So it's been around longer than some of the parties that that are out there today. And there are only 14 political parties left in Nigeria as of today, except the registered new parties. And all of them have the same rights to choose who their candidates will be. It's the internal affairs of the party. Then it becomes public when the candidate or the party, this time around no longer contestants, presented to INEC for the public to know who to vote for. But I hope the people of Nigeria prepare themselves this time around to vote for the right people, choose and vote for the right people and defend their vote. Because it's not enough to vote in Nigeria anymore. You have to vote and stand by your decision. Yes.
Thank you so much. Mr. Samaila Uba is the publisher of the Sahara Reporters, but he's also a former presidential candidate of the AAC, right?
Yes, the African Action Congress, AAC.
Thank you for coming in today. And we wish
Thanks
you well in court tomorrow.
Thank you.
Well done. Let's go on now to still talking politics. The Kano State Governor, Abba Yusuf, has officially joined the All Progressives Congress in Kano State. In an elaborate ceremony at the Coronation Hall of the Kano State Government House, Governor Yusuf went through the mandatory membership e-registration of the APC, after which he publicly announced his defection. APC members, in company of their top leaders, welcomed Governor Yusuf into the party and made cheers and celebrations. The governor's defection opened a new dimension of Kano State politics as he aligned with the state's main opposition. Our correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu happens to be in that space and joins us for more update. Hello, Emmanuel.
Yeah, good evening from Kano. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Let me say it in Hausa. Yeah, Aiki. Okay, so tell us, what's the Kano State Governor's effect? What does it mean to the politics of Kano? You've had time to speak with the residents, some of the residents there. What have they said, and what's the thinking like?
Yes. It's just the people of Kano seeing the whole thing, they are just making sure that what they are seeing, what they are experiencing here is a new phase in the political atmosphere of the state, where the governor is now aligning with the opposition, whom he has fought a lot of battle against, and of course cutting away from the godfather of the state, the political godfather, who is actually arguably the most popular person, and is bringing a lot of reactions and counter reactions. For those supporting the move, they are celebrating. Those not supporting the move are busy expressing their displeasure, which is actually what's happening here right now at the Kano State Government House. APC flags flying everywhere. Ex-Governor Don DJ, who is the former party chairman, national party chairman, deputy senate president, all are here to receive the governor. The governor went to the embassy registration and is now officially a member of the APC, and he intends to continue his governance under the platform. Yeah.
Noticed in the footage, some of the people still wearing the Kwankwasia caps. Is the Kwankwasia movement dead with this movement? Is that what it means for Kano State? And the deputy governor was conspicuously absent. Have you found out why? Yes.
Actually, of course, let's start with the issue of Kwankwasia. The Kano State governor is still a member of the Kwankwasia movement. He made it clear. And his supporters who continue to be align themselves with the Kwankwasia movement. He said the Kwankwasia movement is not a political party, so they continue to wear their red caps. Of course, you can see some kind of some people manage to temper with the red cap, putting the Tinubu insignia, the broken chain insignia of President Tinubu, and then trying to still say that the red cap is still valid, but the fact that they are only moving to cross over to another party, which is the APC. Then of course the deputy governor is not there. The deputy governor has his actions and inactions are actually showed in a couple of days that he's not together with the governor. So far, so good. 4 commissioners we have told have resigned. Five right now I'm told that have resigned. That includes Mustafa Konkoso, who is also the commissioner of Youth and Sport. He has resigned to align with his dad. And of course, we have the AVM, who is the commissioner for internal security and home affairs in the state. They have also resigned. So those are the people that share the same sentiment with the deputy governor, who didn't appear at the dedication ceremony. And in a couple of days, the governor will make his decisions about those vacant positions. And they will know the fate of the deputy governor and those who have resigned, whether the vacant position will be filled or not. Yeah, that's the situation right now.
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel Bagudu, as you continue watching the political situation. I guess, as you said, in a few days or in a few hours, we'll get to know what the position will be of the deputy governor. Would he continue in office or would he be impeached? But we'll leave all of that to the political, how do you say now? This is the decision makers would say. Thank you so much. We'll move on now to Adamawa State, where the All Progressives Congress chapter there has promised to promised a level playing field for the son of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, also chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, Abba Atiku Abubakar. This was as Abba Abubakar, alongside his supporters, paid a courtesy visit to the party's state leadership, where they pledged their loyalty and support to the administration of President Bola Tinubu following his registration at the ward level. He assured the party leadership of his total commitment to the APC, promising to work tirelessly to ensure the party's success in future elections. APC leaders in the state commended him for joining the party and assured him of equal rights and opportunities within the APC.
I want to thank everyone that's here and the ones that were not able to make it. Let's keep on praying and work hard to bring back President Ahmed Bola Tinubu in 2027.
na so kuma ne kai masauki ku lafiya lau kuma Allah ya sa mu kara addu'a kuma mu yi aiki babban aiki mu dawo da shi shugaban kasa yanzu shi President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
We have been working hard to build this party, and whenever we see any intellectual anywhere, we will make sure that we drag him to the All Progressive Congress. As you know, APC is the greatest party in Africa. So we are looking forward to see how we can bring everyone to the All Progressive Congress. After him coming to APC today is one of our greatest achievements as a party, and we'll look forward to see how we can bring more people to APC from other parties.
Abba is a man who is independent. He has grown. I think he has the right to make his choice. His father is there. That's reasons for maybe the APC, PDP, that has come to the APC. I wish him well. But Abba has come to the APC today.
Extremely glad to receive the caliber of Abba into this state secretariat today. And we want to assure you, the Abba and the teaming supporters of APC, Abba will be given equal opportunity. He will be treated fairly because APC is progressive. APC is not a secret society.
Well, we're still talking politics, but not party membership now. We're looking at the FCT council polls as the area council elections are approaching real quick. The residents of rural communities within the FCT are still making or seeking to get their voices heard. In Peggy, a resettlement community located in the Kuje area council of Abuja, residents say they have long experienced abandonment and neglect for over 2 decades from the Federal Capital Territory Administration and the Kuje area council, especially in the area of infrastructure development. The residents say their roads have worsened over time, and this has led to a breakdown of security in the area. The lack of potable water has also made them resort to wells and boreholes, while the lack of equipment and personnel have been present in the primary healthcare center in the community makes life difficult for the vulnerable population in the community. They add that they expect the elections to bring renewed attention to long-standing developmental challenges being witnessed in the area. Our correspondent Aisha Saliu has been following this story, and she joins me here in the studio right now. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, sir.
I saw a bit of the road there, and I can imagine what it was like for you going to that community.
Yeah, I would say I was a bit disappointed today because this is a resettlement community. I mean, they have been resettled for over 20 years now. They were resettled during the El-Rufai's administration when he was the FCT minister, and the government has made continuous promises to these people. I mean, talking about accessible road, healthcare, amongst other basic amenities. But from what we saw today, you could visibly see that these things have not yet been put in place. I mean, residents were complaining that because of these things, there has been security issues in the community. Some persons have had to relocate from that area because it's no longer conducive for them. We went to the clinic, the only primary health care in the community, and we saw the state of the primary health care facility there. We could see roofs, the ceilings are leaking, and they did mention that during the rainy season they have to pack out water from the facility, and then and then we also saw residents fetching water from wells because there was no.
This is the school there. Is that the only school you have there that the roof some of the buildings have their roof already off.
No, that's for the primary healthcare center that we saw there.
Oh, this is here. This is what we're seeing now. This is a school.
No, not this particular picture,
Okay.
but the schools we saw there were in, I would say, reasonable condition. But what the residents were just asking for is more security in the area, because they said that there has been cases of kidnap before now, although they said there is a new deployment of the DPO in the area, which has restored some hope and calm in minds of the people. But they are still asking for government presence. They're asking the area council, which is Kuje. They're also asking the FCT minister, because they said just about a year ago, the FCT minister was in that community and he promised that there is an ongoing road construction that he is going to do. Even the area council also made promises. Some projects have been abandoned, yet to see completion. So these residents are really calling on, the authorities to do right by them.
Okay, I'm also being joined by Andova Utsaha, development advocate and public affairs commentator. He's joining me from our newsroom. Habib Mohammed is also around. Oh, Habib is the one we have instead joining us from our newsroom. Hello, Habib. He's also a development analyst. Habib, are you there? Okay, we'll take a moment and when we'll come back, Aisha is still here. Andova Utsaha, a development advocate, will be joining us with Habib Mohammed. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Apologies, we just couldn't hold on to Aisha anymore. She had to go for something else. But we have Andove Utsaha, a development advocate and public affairs commentator, joining us here. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we also have Habib Mohammed from our newsroom, a development analyst. Thank you for joining us, Habib.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let me start with you, Andove. You've seen, you were hearing Aisha talk about what she saw in Kuje, Peggy community to be precise. They talked about roads. They talked about pipe-borne water, potable water. They talked about security and the health facility, personnel and equipment. It looks like it's a common thread around many of the communities visited ahead of the local council elections.
Sadly so. And ordinarily, that should form the basis for discussion for the electioneering process. But I'm rarely hearing any of these things come out from those who are contesting, and that shouldn't be the case.
Are they even campaigning?
That's the thing. It's like we are just laid back waiting for the results to be announced. To some extent, you will not completely blame them, because when there is a lack of participation too, everybody goes home to sleep and assumes that at the end of the day, my party will win. And it so happens. You look at the turnout compared to the list of registers. You see that the number of people who determine our leaders in the country are a microscopic few, just a tiny minority, because some give up even before trying. And that is the major challenge.
Habib, do you agree with Andove about this matter of participation? Does that take away from the fact that these things are needed by the residents of the various communities?
Sorry, I didn't get that. I didn't get what you said. Can you take that again?
Okay, I'm saying did you hear his submission about participation in the elections?
I don't think I really got everything he said.
Okay,
because
but let's
let's
take it from this side.
Okay.
The common thread from all the communities visited is bad roads, poor health facilities, no personnel in the health facilities, no potable water, no power, and security. It's a common thread. Is that really what those campaigning for the council chair positions are using for their campaigns? Have you heard any of their campaigns lately?
Basically, that's the trend for every political office seeker. That's what they use. That's the strategy. Basically, you see a lot of people who wants to go into most of these political offices use that as a yardstick to lure their voters. Oh, we're going to give you good roads, we're going to give you health facilities, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. So it's a normal thing. And by the time they get there, it's a problem, because firsthand, we can see some of the things we do at even Powden. We see that some of these communities lack even good waters to drink. Good water health, it's common. It's just a normal thing. It's not something new. We are not a student. We are not outside the walls. We know. But what we should ask ourselves is, most of these things, are they sustainable? Do we prioritize these office seekers? Because most of the times, even the voters don't really take time to really understand the people they want to vote to protect their mandate. So, I mean, it's sad that it's a normal trend, but then when they get to the office, it's not sustainable. That's just it.
Okay, on the way, he's talked about the voters do not take time to study the people that they want to vote into office. Should we continue in this way?
Absolutely, we shouldn't. But then again, if we say no, what do? People who are voted into office must come on political platforms. As far as our electoral law is concerned, we have no space for independent candidature. So the people are limited to the choices of the political platforms. That is the challenge. And like he mentioned, what we are doing is not sustainable. But the problem is, even when you vote somebody who discusses some of these issues, how are you sure that when he gets there, he's going to implement it? There's a missing link of accountability. And nobody seems to care so much about it, even when our laws provide. For instance, for the local governments, Section 7 sub 2B provides for the setting up of an economic think tank at the state level. I mean, here we would look at it at the FCT. So this economic hub is supposed to put together ideas for continual development. And this development can go beyond just one tenure. That's where continuity comes in, you know. But when you don't have even the plan in place, then how can implementation come in? I speak as an architect. Without the plan, no development.
You speak as an architect. Habib, you're a development analyst. I'm sure you're not new to Nigeria's political space. There was a time in this country where the political party on whose platform you came into office will tell you, if you do not build this road, you will not come back for the next term. Do you think that is still happening? And can that even begin to happen as we enter into these council polls?
Well, I don't think so, because like I said earlier on, our political system and the method in which most of these politicians get into office is sad, seriously sympathetic, because you see that there's absolute poverty. Absolute poverty. People lose their lives now as a result of 2,000 naira in some communities. And just like you rightly said, I don't see that happening. Because when you subject these people to, some of these people don't even know their left from their right. They don't even know their rights anymore. Yes, they don't, because we are firsthand. We see what these people go through. We feel the impacts at community level, the insecurity, and a lot of things that have really gone wrong. Talking about mandating those politicians in elective offices to really do what's the needful. Most of them don't do it. They just say they're going to do it, but they don't. But it's sad. It's seriously sad. We really, we have a lot of work to do. Seriously, we have quite a lot to do. And it's so sympathetic that I will always say.
All right, thank you so much. Habib Mohammed, the development analyst, joined us from our newsroom. We also had in the studio here, Aundove Usaha, development advocate and public affairs commentator. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're moving on to other stories right now, or we'll take a short break. Now let's go on to security. The Defense Headquarters has finally confirmed that there was a coup plot to overthrow President Bola Tinubu. In a statement on Monday, Samaila Uba, Director of Defense Information, said investigations into the coup attempt have been concluded and officers involved will be arraigned before the relevant military judicial panels. He said the findings showed that some of the officers had cases to answer over allegations of plotting to overthrow the government, and that the investigation report has now been forwarded to the appropriate superior authority. In October 2025, the DHQ announced the arrest of 16 officers over acts of indiscipline and breaches of service regulations. Uba said those indicted would be formally arraigned before the relevant military judicial panels to face trial in line with the Armed Forces Act and other applicable service regulations. As the world marks the International Day of Clean Energy, Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluwaremi Tinubu, is urging Nigerians to lead the charge in environmental stewardship. Commemorating the 2026 global theme, Clean Energy for People and Planet, the First Lady described a healthy environment as a shared societal duty. She urged citizens to adopt renewable technologies, calling them the essential foundation for survival and healthy living. This call comes as global leaders intensify efforts to transition towards sustainable energy systems. United Nations Sanctioned Day aims to mobilize action for a just transition to green power. Looking at Nigeria's energy landscape as the nation marks the 2026 International Day of Clean Energy. While 98% of urban Nigerians are now aware of renewable and clean energy, a deep 70% gap remains in rural awareness. Despite the off-grid revolution, fossil fuels still dominate 90% of the national grid. However, adoption is surging. Over 70% of urban households now use solar inverters for lighting, though 84% still depend on petrol generators due to high entry costs. Barriers like high capital costs and currency volatility persist. But the sector is exploding with a 25% annual growth rate. With fuel subsidies gone, solar has become 40% more attractive as Nigeria targets a massive 14 gigawatt capacity by 2031. The message is clear. The transition is no longer just about the planet. It's about the pocketbook. To further discuss this, I'm joined by Honorable Samaila Uba, member, Benue State House of Representatives, House of Assembly, and environmental activist. Thank you for joining us, Honorable Uba. So today, I think you're muted. If you could just check on that while I read out the question. Today, the world celebrates World Green Energy Day. And we've seen that in Nigeria, we still have like a 70% gap in terms of awareness. What can we do to make that change?
Well, thanks again for having me. Nigeria is a developing country where information dissemination, is still quite slow. Of course, you know that the economic scenario in the country is also biting hard on the pockets of Nigerians. And so the adoption of renewable energy obviously will be a little bit slow, but like you said, it's growing faster and faster every day. The rural communities are also adopting renewable energy technologies in clean cooking and other forms of renewables like solar. And as a parliament, we're also developing policies and programs, especially something we call the communities green energy zones, where we hope to integrate and massively deploy renewable energy across all the federal constituencies across the country. So as a parliament, we are parliamentarians, we are closest to the people, and the work we do affects the lives of the people more directly across the rural areas in Nigeria. And so we are hopeful that once our program takes effect, the impacts of renewable energy will be felt at the grassroots. There'll be more adoption at the grassroots level, and more of our people can enjoy the benefits of renewable energy and, of course, clean energy in the rural areas.
But in terms of health impact, what would you say are the health impacts of how much of this is affecting the health sector or the health of the residents of our country? Because, I mean, have petrol fumes or generator fumes. We've had new stories of families being wiped out by generator fumes and all of that, and the inhalation, the purity in the air as well.
Yes, well, the impact of dirty energy, if I will call it that, or the negative impact of fossil fuels is felt across the country in different ways. So it's not the same way it is felt in the Niger Delta, for example, like to be felt up north, where there's less industrial activity But so down south, where there's high industrial activity, where there's a lot of drilling of crude oil, refining, and a lot of industrial activity, there's a lot of air pollution, which is causing a lot of lung diseases and cancers. There's a lot of pollution to water, so it's affecting the fishery industry across the country. But of course, up north, we're feeling the impact of these things through droughts, through desertification going on, cutting of trees for firewood, and all that is really affecting the lives of the people. It's causing heat waves up north, which is affecting especially the elderly people and the younger people, and of course also affecting our agriculture because of the poor, irregular rainfall patterns and things like that has led to even farmers having to adapt to the changing climate in Nigeria. So there's quite a bit of effect on everybody, whether you feel it or you realize it or not. We're all being affected by the greenhouse gas emissions from our cars, from the industries around us. And of course, we're being affected by the impact of these changes to our climate on the environment, on the agriculture, for farmers and food security in Nigeria.
Okay, Honorable, I know that Nigeria has a climate agency. We've been part of the COP and all of that. But in terms of adaptations, or I'm trying to find the right word here, in terms of climate adaptation project that Nigeria has done, some will say not really done much, as should be expected. But are there a few that have been done that are functional, and are we seeing any difference? Would they make any difference whatsoever?
Well, to put it very, very plainly, really, Nigeria has not done enough. Nigeria has not accessed the global climate funds that are available for climate adaptation projects in the country. We've not done a good job in packaging bankable projects that can quickly assess funding to be implemented. But that not being said, we have several projects that are ongoing that have impact on the climate, our adaptation projects like the Great Green Wall projects, planting trees across the country up north at the Sahel region to curb the desert encroachment and drought, which is ongoing. We have adaptation and renewable energy uptakes, a lot of programs ongoing in that regard. I know that the REA has done quite a bit in installing solar panels to take a lot of communities, a lot of industries and shopping centers and schools, institutions off grid, which has also helped the educational sector and of course the commercial sector in the country. So there's quite a bit going on, but to answer your question straight up, I think we've not done even nearly enough. Many other smaller African countries have accessed global funding in hundreds of millions of dollars. Nigeria has barely accessed any funds for climate adaptation projects. And unfortunately, as a country, we've also not budgeted enough for the environment and for climate adaptation projects. In the last year's budget, the environmental sector got less than 10% of releases for projects. The ecological fund is also not being funded properly anymore. So there's not really a lot of climate adaptation projects executed in the last year's fiscal year. But the private sector, development partners, institutes, and of course, the National Council on Climate Change is doing quite a lot in capacity building to help people individually and businesses adapt to the new realities of climate and the realities of the impact on everybody.
All right. So we thank you so much, Honorable Samaila Uba. I honestly will look for, I'm sure we'll find opportunities to bring you into the studio so that we can have this conversation the more. Let's see how we can help to educate the nation and indeed its citizens about what needs to be done, the more that needs to be done as regards clean energy in Nigeria in particular. Thank you so much. Honorable Samaila Uba is a member, House of Representatives, representing Kwande Ushongo constituency. He's a politician, environmental strategist, and education critic. So you wear many caps. And of course, we'll be drawing on those caps as often as we can. Thank you once again for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
Now, talking about education, members of the Joint Union of Action, members of the Joint Unions Action Committee of the Federal Capital Territory have appealed to the administration to comply with their demands so that they can return to work. The appeal was made when they converged on the headquarters of the FCTA after their appearance at the Abuja Industrial Court over demands by the administration urging the court to compel them to end the strike. The strike, however, took a different dimension today as members of the Nigerian Union of Teachers joined the action, shutting down schools across the capital in a show of solidarity.
Are you a father?
I am not surprised that NUT joined because I knew that it was just a matter of time. Because the struggle for us is also a struggle for them. The SEP and the UBEB are all here, and so whatever money is being paid to us or whatever benefits this struggle provides is also for them. So I just knew it's a matter of time. And if we have our issues, we'll settle that after here.
Yes, what transpired today, I think I am happy with what transpired because the judge gave everybody the two-side opportunity to say their own side of it. And when the other side, the defending side, were asking for injunction for the closure, for the gates to be opened, the judge declined to do it. So we're happy about that. Yes. All we are asking is that he should see reason to do the needful and let there be peace so the office will be open again and then normal business will start coming again.
The Lagos State Internal Revenue Service will recover unpaid taxes from defaulting taxpayers through banks, employers, debtors, tenants, and business partners. This is backed by Section 60 of the Nigerian Tax Administration Act 2025, granting LIRS power of substitution. Affected taxes include personal income tax, capital gains tax, stamp duties, and withholding tax. LIRS warns that non-compliance may lead to penalties, interest, and enforcement actions. Taxpayers are urged to settle outstanding assessments promptly. Well, I'm now being joined by a legislative consultant and public affairs analyst, Comrade Akinloye Oyeni. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, my friend. How are you doing? Good evening, Nigerians.
This is it's not new. I mean,
yes.
Since 2026, everybody has these new tax law. Right now, with this one going to the banks and all that.
It's not new. It's not also new. You know, in the last FRS defunct, that's a defunct FRS Act. It was there.
It was there also.
It was there.
Okay.
It was there. Few new things that came from the 4 laws. These 4 new laws, like the tax ombuds, the tribunal, and those are the few. Then the exception of the small businesses, and those are the new things that just came in. It was there in the FRS Act.
Okay, but considering that there's still that matter of clarity in terms of amendments or adjustments to the what is gazetted on after passing in the House or in the chambers.
Yes.
What was gazetted is different from what they passed. Shouldn't there be a period of saying, okay, let's clarify things before we even begin to implement? But it looks as if everybody's just going ahead to do implementation. And a colleague of mine this evening talked about how some monies were withdrawn from his account that he did not even know anything about.
You know, one thing about legislation is that when you read from the long, we have what we call long title of the bill. When it was a bill, then you come to the sponsor, then you come to the before the when you say the Federal Republic, National Assembly of Federal Republic of Nigeria, you see commencement. There's a commencement date on all the 4 acts that were assented to. So there's no way they have become laws. There's no way the commencement date can be shifted. There's no way. The date is already there. You see it, bracket open, and the bracket close. Commence date, is already there. And you know when the issue happened.
Yes.
The National Assembly, the chairman of the National Assembly, they said that's the Senate President, the chairman of the National Assembly, said the CNA, that's the clerk to the National Assembly, should release, because National Assembly too, they have gazetted copy, to release the gazetted copy and the certified true copy of the bill, the exact bill that was passed, that was sent for assent, and it was done.
And you saw? Did you see the?
I saw it. Actually, I participated in all the stages of the bill.
You saw the differences in the two.
I didn't see the other one. I didn't see you know when the hula balloon was going on, I was trying, it was.
No, well, what I'm saying is, did you
yes.
see the differences between the gazetted and the certified true copy?
I didn't even see the gazetted one. It was when the National Assembly said when they released,
that you
when
saw
the CNA released it was that one I saw.
Okay.
So, but all the concerns that has been raised by people, we saw them in the new one. But they are just bringing narrative into
but let
all
me
these
ask
things
this. In every law, for instance, there is a document that's supposed to guide the implementation of that law.
Yes.
Has that document been released by the committee?
I don't know.
Because I think Mr.
No, it is not. I don't know of this law, but it is not necessarily for all laws. How long after the passage, after the assent, the laws will be sent back to the National Assembly, the CNA, the clerk of the National Assembly, to gazette. The CNA will gazette 2 copies on vellum. Gazette 2 copies on vellum. He will send one to the CJN to enroll at the Supreme Court. When that law becomes enrolled at the Supreme Court, it has become a law. So all the courts from Supreme Court to the lowest court can use it.
So, but as it is, right, what we're discussing here now,
yes,
seeing that there is a complaint on this new law from the highest body, which is the National Assembly itself, that set up this document, said, okay, we have found that there's a discrepancy between what we approved and what you gazetted, or what was signed.
What we saw and what we read online.
What was signed, what we approved and was signed, and what we are seeing gazetted, there are 2 different things. There are issues there.
Okay.
I'm saying that even though it's been the commencement date, now the man that did that commencement date is now telling you that what I gave you plus what I'm seeing here are 2 different things.
Yes.
Shouldn't, in a sane community, shouldn't there be a hold to say, okay, let's hold on and get this sorted?
No, it shouldn't be hold on. If you are saying perpetrators of the gazette, the fake one allegedly should be scouted for, should be gotten and put, I can go along with that. But the law itself that has now been released by the National Assembly themselves later should get it's not. It will become, the law will become illegal. It will be illegal. That means for them to hold on to the law, they have to bring the law back to the National Assembly to legislate on it again. The commencement date must also be amended. You have to amend the commencement date. Without the amendment, you cannot stop it.
Eni,
yes.
If you passed a law, I know they're telling me that my time is up.
Yes.
If you said this is a glass table,
yes,
you start using it on the 1st of January.
Yes.
And before the 1st of January, on the 28th of December,
yes,
I see that this table now has a white line across. You're telling me because it's January 1st, I must use that table?
No,
laws
are not like that.
No, hold on.
Laws are not.
You have set a law.
Yes.
And that's what the law is.
Yes.
And now you're now saying, because you have said this is the law on the 1st, and I'm telling you on the 28th that there is a problem with this law. This is not what we agreed on. You're saying I must abide by this.
No, you are not to abide by the one that was gazetted. The one they saw online that was gazetted, that there are some infiltrations and no, it's not that one. If you look at the one that has been implemented now, it is not even that one.
Okay.
It's not even that one. The one I've seen being implemented, it's not even that one.
You're the legislative man that would tell us more. But thank you so much. Thank you for coming, Mr. Akinloye Oyeni. Thank you for coming in this evening. We do appreciate it. We look forward to having you again, Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The World Health Organization has confirmed that Ethiopia has officially declared the end of its first ever Marburg virus outbreak. The outbreak, first detected in mid-November 2025 in the town of Jinka, claimed 9 lives out of 14 confirmed cases. WHO says the virus was contained in less than 3 months through enhanced surveillance and a government-led response supported by international partners. Health officials say continued monitoring remains crucial as several African countries have recorded Marburg outbreaks in recent years. Marburg is a highly contagious hemorrhagic fever similar to Ebola, with a fatality rate that can reach up to 90% and no approved vaccine or antiviral treatment. Republican lawmakers are intensifying pressure on the Trump administration to launch a full independent investigation into the fatal shooting of Alex Pretty, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, by federal agents in Minneapolis during a federal immigration enforcement operation. Pretty, an intensive care nurse with no serious criminal record, was killed on January 24th as protests escalated over immigration tactics, sparking widespread outrage and calls for accountability. President Trump told the Wall Street Journal his administration is reviewing everything and suggested that federal agents might eventually be withdrawn from the city, while also criticizing Pretty for carrying a firearm at the protest. Video verified by local authorities and media outlets shows Pretty holding a phone, not a weapon, before the shooting, contradicting initial federal claims, leading to sharp disputes between state and federal officials. And that's it on the 6th edition for today. Here's a recap of our major stories. President Tinubu has departed Nigeria for a state visit to deepen Nigeria's Turkey relationship. A Nigerian Union of Teachers have joined the FCTA strike, even as the FCTA has taken the Joint Unions Action Committee to court. And the World Health Organization has confirmed the end of Ethiopia's first ever Marburg virus outbreak. Remember, you can send your comments or eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number showing on your screen. We'd like to hear from you. And then you can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV on all platforms. You can watch News Central live on any of these social media platforms, plus DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, StarTimes channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Neota Ebe.